Hey everyone, welcome to the very first episode of Notice This, where I talk about construction lien laws, preliminary notices, and all the stuff that makes lawyers excited and contractors groan. Don't click away just yet though. I promise I won't make this boring. Consider me to be Google Maps, but for lien rights. I'll get you where you need to go, and hopefully only occasionally have to reroute you. But before you ask, no, I can't build you a deck. Unfortunately, I wish. But I can keep you from losing your shirt when the GC, your owner, forgets to pay. So let's dive in. Okay, let's start simple. Why do lien rights even matter? Here's the deal. In construction, you don't always get paid. And when you're supposed to, you don't protect your lien rights. You might not get paid at all. A lien is basically like your legal leverage. It's like hitting the save game button, but for your money. So if someone doesn't pay up, you've still got a way to collect, which is the ultimate tool. And without lien rights, you're kind of just sending polite emails and hoping for the best. But hope is not a strategy. Now, here's where most people get tripped up, the preliminary notice. Think of it as RSVPing to a party that you weren't invited to, but you need to show up anyways. In some states, you don't send a prelim, you actually lose your lien rights, period. And it's not about threatening anybody, it's simply just saying, hey, I'm on this job, I supply materials or labor, and I just want to be kept in the loop. That way, if things go sideways, which they ultimately will sometimes, you've got the paperwork trail to back you up. So what's the kicker? In every state, it has its own deadlines and rules. In California, for example, you usually have 20 days from first furnishing. In Texas, it depends on whether you're a second or a third tier subcontractor. In Florida, it even has its own NTO requirements. It's kind of like every state made its lien laws during happy hour. But that's where people get messed up because they don't, know the deadline, or they think, it won't happen to me. Spoiler alert, I've heard it a lot, it will. All right, so you sent your prelim, but what if payment still doesn't come? That's when you have to escalate. So step one, collections letters. Think of these as friendly nudges, like your past due reminders, threat to lien letters. They're just bluff tools that get people moving without having to go full nuclear. The next step would be the notice of intent to lien. This is like saying, listen, I'm not kidding around anymore. You're either going to pay me or I'm going to place a lien and it goes on record. And in some states, a notice of intent to lien is actually required before you can even file a lien. And in other states, it's really just a great pressure tactic. And lastly, the mechanics lien, step 3. This is the big one. Once it's filed, it actually clouds the property title. Owners, lenders, they suddenly care a lot because nobody likes a lien sitting on their property. And here's the thing, liens, they just get attention fast. Nobody wants their project being held hostage. So here's the challenge. All of this, the deadlines, the forms, the state rules, it's really overwhelming. And if you're busy, running a crew or chasing invoices or just trying to get home to your family in time for dinner, the last thing you want to do is read legal statutes. And I don't blame you, but you miss one deadline, boom, your lien rights are gone. If you file the wrong form, it gets rejected. If you send it to the wrong person, it's just useless, honestly. So that's why so many people just throw their hands up in the air and say, forget it. But unfortunately, that's when they lose thousands. That's where I come in though. At Nationwide Notice, I just help make this process simple. I care, You give us the basic job information and we research the property owner, lender, GC, bond info if needed. We even create, mail, track all the notices. Bottom line is we keep you compliant with each state's crazy rules to get you paid. And you don't have to guess. You don't have to remember deadlines. You don't even have to lick a single envelope. We do all the heavy lifting for you. We work with suppliers, subcontractors, contractors across the country, and we have 2 different services. Full service, where we handle everything, or self-service, where you still control the research, but you just let us do the boring stuff. Whichever, we got you covered. So what's the bottom line? You stay protected, you just get paid faster, and ultimately you sleep better knowing your rights are secure. That's what we're there for. That's your crash course in lien rights and preliminary notices. And if you're in construction, think of me as your lien rights personal trader, except instead of having to yell at you to do more push-ups, I just have to yell at you to send your notices on time. Here's what to do next. Hit subscribe, drop a comment. If you're working in a specific state, or if you're confused about something specific, let me know in the comments below, and I will help you with all things lien law and cover specific states in the future episodes. Because at the end of the day, it's not about scaring people with legal talk. It's just about making sure that you get what you have earned. I'm Kat, this is Notice This, and I'll see you next time. Oh, and don't forget, hope is not a strategy.